Stoicism does not teach hatred. It does not teach revenge. What it teaches is clarity. Most people believe disrespect is obvious. They think it shows up as insults, as raised voices, as open conflict. But real disrespect is quieter than that. It hides in repetition. It shows up when someone keeps doing the same thing. After you stayed calm, after you showed patience, after you made your boundaries clear. Once can be a mistake. Twice can be thoughtlessness. But repeated behavior is never an accident. It is a decision. Stoic philosophy is direct about this. People reveal their values through patterns, not words. Apologies can lie. Explanations can be distracting, but repetition tells the truth. If someone does the same thing again and again, they're showing you exactly how much they respect you. Nem and the Stoics would tell you this. When behavior repeats, the message is already clear. Pattern over intent. Most people judge others by intention. They listen to explanations. They believe apologies. They focus on what someone meant to do. Stoicism rejects that approach. Stoics observe behavior. They study repetition. They measure consistency over time. Because intention is invisible, but patterns are not. A single mistake proves nothing, but repeated behavior proves priority. Someone who respects you adjusts. Someone who doesn't repeats. Not out of confusion, not out of ignorance, but because there is no consequence for doing so. Marcus Aurelius warned against this trap. He wrote that character is revealed by what we do again and again. Stoicism teaches a simple rule: never argue with words, never chase explanations. Observe the pattern. That pattern is the truth. And once you see it clearly, you no longer need to guess where you stand. Sign 1. They cross the same boundary again and again. Everyone can make a mistake once. That is human, but when the same boundary is crossed again and again, it stops being a misunderstanding. You were clear, you stayed calm, you didn't attack or overreact. You simply drew a line. And yet it happens again. Stoicism calls this conscious disregard. They understood the boundary. They just decided it didn't apply to them. Respect always creates adjustment. Disrespect creates repetition. A Stoic does not argue here. He does not explain the same boundary twice. He observes the pattern. Because boundaries are not requests, they are standards. And when someone repeatedly ignores them, they are telling you something important. They don't lack awareness. They lack respect. At that point, clarity matters more than patience. Sign 2. They apologize but change nothing. Some people are very good at apologizing. They say the right words. They sound sincere. They promise awareness, but nothing changes. The behavior stays the same. The pattern continues. The boundary is crossed again. Stoicism is clear on this. An apology without correction is manipulation. Real accountability shows up as change, not language. If the behavior repeats, the apology was never for you. It was for them, to reset access and avoid consequence. A Stoic doesn't argue about sincerity. He watches outcomes. Because words are cheap, patterns are expensive. When someone apologizes but keeps doing the same thing, they are not confused. They are testing how much disrespect you will tolerate. And whatever you tolerate repeatedly, you silently teach others is acceptable. Sign 3. They only respect you when it benefits them. Pay attention to timing. They listen when they need something. They show respect when you're useful. They acknowledge boundaries only when it suits them. But the moment you become inconvenient, the respect disappears. This is not mutual respect. It is conditional tolerance. Stoicism values consistency above charm or affection, because character does not shift with advantage. If respect depends on circumstance, it was never respected to begin with. It was convenient, and convenience always expires. A Stoic does not take this personally. He takes it seriously. He understands that real respect is stable. It does not appear only when power is balanced. It does not vanish when the situation changes. When respect shows up only when it benefits them, the pattern is clear. You are being used and not valued. Sign 4. They downplay your discomfort repeatedly. You express discomfort calmly, not with anger, not with drama, and the response is always the same. You're too sensitive. You're overthinking. That's just how I am. Once could be misunderstood. Repeatedly is dismissed. Stoicism draws a hard line here. Your emotions are your responsibility, but your boundaries are not negotiable. Someone who respects you does not debate your limits. They do not minimize them. They adjust their behavior. When discomfort is repeatedly downplayed, what's being dismissed is not your feeling, it's your value. A Stoic does not argue to be understood. He notices the pattern. And when the same discomfort is ignored again and again, clarity replaces conversation. Sign 5. They face no consequences and keep repeating it. Disrespect thrives where there are no consequences. If someone crosses a line, apologizes, and then returns to the same behavior, it means nothing changed for them. Stoicism teaches that people respond to reality, not to words. When boundaries exist only in conversation, they are not boundaries. They are suggestions. A Stoic understands this without anger. He does not threaten. He does not lecture. He simply removes access. Because repeated behavior is sustained by permission. Not spoken permission, but tolerated permission. When someone keeps repeating the same action, they are not misunderstanding you. They are accurately reading your limits. And what you allow to continue quietly defines how others treat you. Stoic distinction: forgiveness versus access. Stoicism allows forgiveness, but it never guarantees access. Forgiveness is internal. It is about releasing resentment. It is about freeing your own mind. Access is external. It is about proximity, trust, and influence. Many people confuse the two. They believe forgiving someone means keeping them close. Stoicism rejects that idea. You can forgive someone and still limit their presence in your life. That is not bitterness, that is discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we must act with justice, but without attachment. That includes knowing when distance is necessary. A Stoic does not seek closure through conversation. He seeks alignment through action. When behavior does not change, forgiveness may remain, but access must end. Quiet, Stoic authority. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to explain again. You don't need to demand understanding. You need clarity. Repeated behavior is already an answer. Silence becomes the response. Distance becomes the boundary. Stoicism is not about enduring disrespect. It is about refusing to betray yourself. When someone shows you, again and again, how little they value your limits, believe the pattern. Walk away calmly, without anger, without drama. Not to punish them, but to protect your peace. This is Stoic authority. Quiet, controlled, unshakable. When you stop arguing with behavior and start responding to patterns, your self-respect no longer depends on anyone else. And that is where real strength begins.